Hi, obviously I'm not an artist, and in this log I'm going to be displaying and discussing issue 17 of Hachette's Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Issue 17 and 18 come with 11 Tyranid infantry bioforms, 10 termagants and 1 Ripper Swarm. These are push-fit minis that originally came in the 10th edition box set Leviathan and is a repeat from issue 7 and 8. With nothing new to paint, let's have a look in the issue and see if inspiration strikes. The issue opens with how to build, and this is exactly the same instructions from issue 7. Then we get Life in the Imperium. This is information on how terrible 99.9% of human lives are in the 41st millennium, with nothing to ever look forward to, and every waking second is work and or worship in service to the Emperor of mankind. Even the 0.01% aren't really doing that great either, as you would be consistently looking over your shoulder for assassins or rivals trying to usurp your reign as a lord or a parliamentary governor. And also, the Inquisition or an Astartes force could just arrive at your world at any given moment and decide that you're no longer in charge. Death in the Imperium isn't often the end of one's suffering, as their remains are, if deemed important enough, cleaned, blessed and displayed in shrines. If you're not important enough, however, your corpse is repurposed as foodstuff. Spoonful of Soylent Green, anyone? The artwork here is really macabre, with an underhive ganger looking for servo skulls to sell for scrap. Servo skulls are frequently attached to many Imperial aligned minis. An example, albeit an obscure one, is this model. This is the Rhino Primaris, a Rhino variant that can be only purchased from Warhammer World or from eBay for commanding ludicrous prices. This can take a spin while I dip back into the issue. Servo skulls themselves are basic automatons that are used to support important personnel in many roles, from admin to maintenance to combat. They are equipped with attachments relevant to their roles, such as communication boxes, tools or guns. It is apparently perceived as an honour to have your head repurposed this way. Over page it states that criminals, heretics and ne'er-do-wells are transformed into servitors, mindless cyborg slaves that perform continuous, repetitive or hazardous tasks. Ironically, this type of technology is used on high-ranking personnel, but to keep them alive beyond their standard lifespan and maintain their intelligence and consciousness so they can continue to work effectively within the Imperium. The first founding chapters are the oldest established Space Marine armies. Many are derived from the original 20 legions created by the Emperor and the Primarchs over 10,000 years ago. Representing this is artwork of a Dark Angels veteran Marine and his brethren, the Dark Angels still being active and loyal to the Imperium, and the actual First Legion exemplify this well. Over page we are given a brief description and the chapter symbol for all the remaining loyal first founding chapters, started with the mysterious Dark Angels, known for the unique companies such as the Deathwing and Ravenwing, the Masters of Rapid Warfare, the White Scars, the Space that's not their chapter symbol, that belongs to the Silver Templars. Somewhat of an error there. Experts of siege and siege defense, but certainly not camouflage, because they're bright yellow, the Imperial Fists. Bloodthirsty non-vampires, the Blood Angels. Technology worship and limb replacing Iron Hands, the always tactical and scholarly Ultramarines. Honourable Forge Masters and all-round nice guys, Salamanders, and the stealthy and subtle, at least for superhuman warrior monks, Raven Guard. High Fleet adaptations state Tyranids are as diverse as lethal, adapting and getting somehow deadlier as they find more combat experience. This segues nicely into some Tyranids I painted recently. So I previously mentioned that I have the premium subscription of Combat Patrol, paying an extra £2 on issue for 8 additional premium kits over the entire run of the magazine. And in the first premium kit, I received a Tyranid Hive Tyrant. This massive leader bug can be built in multiple ways, including a melee-only version called the Swarm Lord, a winged variant called a Winged Hive Tyrant, and a further mixture of melee and range type. Interestingly, the instructions provided only display building the melee and range type, which is what I went with. And here it is in the High Fleet Hydra scheme that all of the Tyranids so far I have painted in, armed with a monstrous bone sword and whip for close combat, and a heavy venom cannon for shooting. It was a joy to paint and build, and it's quite the centerpiece of this Combat Patrol. I'm going to let it spin while I dip back into the issue. Anyway, we then have information on several of the hive fleets with some coloured images, starting with Leviathan, that are the most notorious and could be considered the default as they are the most featured. Behemoth seem to be the first discovered hive fleets and who tactically are a simple and brutal bludgeon in warfare. Hydra, whom I've always used as a... wait, that's not their scheme. This is the same image as Behemoth's. This is Hydra's. A second error in the same issue. Hydra are best known for rapidly producing from far less biomass than the other hive fleets and therefore able to create a bigger swarm faster. Hive Fleet Kronos are anti-demon bugs. I guess that makes them the Tyranid equivalent to the Grey Knight Space Marines. Kraken seem to use hit and run tactics and other cunning strategies. And Jormungand are tunneling horrors attacking from underground burrows or collapsing bases, outposts or fortifications. Interestingly, these hive fleets are named after large beasts, but from different sources, as 2 are from biblical text, another 2 are from Greek mythology, and a further 2 are from Norse mythology. Speaking of large beasts, I've painted another hive tyrant. This is the hive tyrant from 2nd edition. He is large in mass rather than stature though, and armed with the identical war gear as the previous model. I found him in an old collection of metal nids I previously collected. I'm going to let him spin as I discuss the story du jour. This time it's Tools of War. Jan, or Jan, it might be a soft J, is living his best yet incredibly depressive life because Warhammer, in a small weapon factory manufacturing lasguns. He laments his life of prey, work, more prey and more work, but is content as he's fully aware of the living death of being transformed into a servitor if he does not give unwavering commitment to his job. Looking up, he spies the exalted dead, presented for all to see and motivate. Stories of peers like dropping dead after a quadruple shift, leading uninterrupted output while the factory was on fire, and manufacturing to a failure rate of 0%. These legends are displayed to inspire all. Jan works while trying to ignore the VDU above, as recently, despite factory priest's insistence that all is well, he gets a feeling that is not the case. He notices during the entire shift that some creature is scuttling above him. It eventually drops and lands on his workstation. Totally alien and smelling of blood, Jan punches it in the head to no effect, grabs the lasgun he's been working on and makes a run for it, hoping to find ammo to fight back more effectively. Jan's knowledge of the layout of the factory was such he could navigate it at high speed with his eyes closed, but suddenly he comes across a wall that is usually not there. Pausing and blinking, it becomes obvious that it was not a wall, but a Space Marine. The Space Marine states,
"Your weapon, give it to me."
In awe, Jan hands over the lasgun, stating that it is without ammo.
"This will suffice,"
the Angel of Death replies. Noticing the Xeno that had been chasing Jan closing on them, he rears back his arm and throws the lasgun like a missile at the alien beast. It smashes into the creature, stunning it.
"Now I will need more weapons. Follow me,"
the Emperor's Angel said, pulling Jan back into reality. Command points and stratagems are introduced in the play section, giving the game a further tactical feel rather than manoeuvring and chance of success and failure from just dice rolls. Command points are generated every turn and can be spent on stratagems, the most common being command reroll, the ability to reroll a hit, wound, damage, saving throw, advanced charge, desperate escape or hazardous test. Scenario 13, Bring It Down, introduces the command reroll stratagem to a battle between all Space Marines and Tyranid units to date. Winning is decided with accumulation of victory points. Anyway, issue 17 is complete. In the next issue, we have the second part of the second batch of 10 Termagants. Time to get creative again. Please like, comment and subscribe as I continue to chronicle the collecting, construction and creating.